Hiya, today working through legs and back. So we're going to start off in our neutral position. Stretch out and splay your toes. Knees are soft. Crown the head up, tailbone just nice and relaxed and heavy. And then just swing the tailbone forward and backwards, which is your pelvic tilt. Make sure the feet are still nice and strong. And try and keep your bum relaxed as you do this. So it's basically as you take the pubic bone forward, like pulling up the front of the pants, pulling them down, pulling them up. So you actually get the work from your lower abdominal muscles. So get this action nice and smooth. Gentle mobilization for the hips. Also for the lumbar spine. Start to activate through the lower abdominals as well. So find your neutral position. And you'll feel the back of the tailbone just drop and sit between the back of your two heel bones. Lengthening the whole spine. These two imaginary sliding doors, imagine them edging towards each other. So the lower ribs softening, the lower abdominals come upwards slightly. From here, side to side, shift to the pelvis. And then hula hula. Reverse. And then back to centre. So again, checking your position, edging together. Rib shift, so just getting some mobilisation in the spine, which is part of our back. And then come back to centre. Now we're just going to comb through the upper body, so you can lean forward, side, back. So if you had a great big pen on your head, you'd be making circles on the ceiling. And then reverse directions. So the legs stay relatively still, it's just the upper body doing the mobilising. And then come back into centre. So with the feet nice and strong, press them down into the ground. And we kind of want ankle, knee and hip alignment, but if it's really uncomfortable, just let maybe your leg turn out to the side slightly. We need to keep the arches lifted, keep edging together. We're going to sink down into the squat. Now as we sit down into it, you widen your sitting bones behind you because they need to relax to get to the depth of your squat. As you come up, it starts from the feet. So press the 3 points of your feet through the floor. Feel how the arches lift as you climb up and you push your feet through the floor. So again, sink down into the squat. So the crease is here at the front of your hips. If you put your fingers there, your fingers should really sink into those creases. You might even feel the front hip bones. From here, start to push the floor away with the 3 points of your feet. Rise up and that crease opens. Sink down, your fingers fall into the crease as the crease deepens. Get your feet right, press the feet into the floor as you rise up. So we can sweep the arms forward. We haven't got the band with us today. Press up. And then just gently circle through the shoulders. Floating the arms forward. Press the feet through the floor. And just a real gentle circle through the shoulder joints. On our next one, as we rise up and our fingertips go towards the ceiling, start to come up onto your toes. So make sure you edge together. Rising up, smoothly rolling back down and straight down into the squat. Exhale up, edging together. Inhale, all the way back down. Exhale, pressing the feet. Two more, breathe in. Exhale. And exhale. Have the hands on the front of the thighs. Again, sit down into a squat. You don't have to go so far down. Into the cat-cow. Let's lead with the tailbone. So start to tuck the tailbone between the legs, let the spine follow the move. The head's the last thing to look towards your belly button. You've got a round back body. And then as you start to inhale, send your tailbone up and away. Again, let the spine follow. Pull the chest forward, shoulder blades towards each other into an arch back. Leading with the tailbone, tuck under. Exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Inhale, arch. Lengthen. Exhale, round. Creating some nice movement through each section of the vertebrae. Arching. Exhale, one more of each. Inhale. Into your neutral position. And just wag your tail from side to side. Different kind of movement, leading from a different part of the body. Come back into centre, press the feet through the floor and stand yourself back up. Well done. So after that, we're just going to mobilise through the hips, just in case you got a little bit tight there. So hold on to something if you need to. And then just circle one leg in one direction a few times and then the other, but really loose and light. So I'm giving you much instructions because I just want everything to be really loose and light there. Then the other side, just keep loosening. Then the other way. And then release. This time we're going to stretch through the front of the thighs as a little prep for our standing single leg kick. So hold on if you need to. Press the pubic bone forward. Think about edging together, particularly lifting the lower belly. So our quads might have got a little bit tight from doing those few squats. And plus it will just give us a little bit more space through the front thighs. We do our single leg kick in a moment. Okay, other side. So again, it's not really so much about balance. This is all about creating length in that front thigh. And then carefully release. So we want to be upright here. So if you need to hold on to a wall or a chair to do this, do so. I want you to focus on keeping or edging together those two imaginary sliding doors, keeping long and strong through the body. And then when you're ready, point, flex, point, and then lower. So this is what we do on the floor at times. Point, flex, point, and down. So we've got a little bit of balance involved. So you've got the option of standing against a wall or with a wall in front of you or a chair. Thinking about the ankle, try and get the ankle movement in. Keeping the thigh dropping downwards, so the kneecap is looking towards the floor and the kneecap isn't too far forward like so. Take the kneecap towards the floor, then point, flex, point and lower. What this exercise does, it lengthens the front thigh, so we've just done a little prep for that. But also works on your hamstrings. If you take the knee a little bit further back, you might get into your bottom muscles a little bit. But we want strong hamstrings, but we also want flexible hamstrings. Keep edging together. So breathe in, point, flex, point, exhale, lower, point, flex, point, exhale, lower. One more on each side. Keep the length through, keep the supporting foot strong. And release. So we do want long, strong hamstrings. We've just worked them. That's more the strength element there. So we're going to give them a bit of length here, a bit of dynamic length. But it also means we're going to be doing a single leg squat at the same time. So if you can have your left leg forward, all the way on your right leg. And then from here, just soften that right knee. Make sure the foot is into the floor nicely. Lift up the arch. Keeping this front leg straight, so you kind of like pull the kneecap up the thigh. Sink down into a squat, so you're really pushing your right sitting bone away. Again, you can sink your fingers into those front hip creases. Sitting bone's going back, particularly the left sitting bone going backwards more, the left one. Widening your sitting bones, so you find a stretch in here. Push all your weight down into your right foot, remember the 3 points, press down particularly through the heel and rise back up again. So we're going to do a few more on this side and then we'll swap over. We're going to do a few different variations. So I'll come front on, so your mirror image might have gone a bit skewy. So sink down, you're sending your left sitting bone away, press up through the right heel and come up. So all the power is through your right hip, but the length is in the back of your left hamstring. Press a foot down, rise back up. So we've got 2 more in this position. Breathe in, widen, really push back through your left sitting bone, press your right foot through the floor to rise back up. Breathe in, sink. So when you've done your 5, with this leg, turn it outwards. The hips are still square, you haven't taken your hips with you, your hips are still square on, but you've rotated the leg out so the knee and toe are pointing to the corner of the room. Sink down, so again you're still straight, sending your left sitting bone away, pressing that right foot through the floor as you rise back up. If you want to go a bit deeper, you can take the arms forward, which is just help counterbalance some weight. Breathe in, sink. Make sure you feel the stretch in that left hamstring and then push the right foot through the floor. Try and keep the thigh nice and strong by pulling up. Breathe in. Breathe out. So you should be starting to feel this hip working because it should be doing all the work. If you've had hip surgery, you can choose either stay external rotation or in neutral. If not, and everything's all good, internal rotation is a natural movement. We want to encourage it. Breathe in. Wide and really send the left sitting bone back. You'll probably feel a slight difference. Push the foot into the floor to rise up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep edging together. Breathe in. Widen. Exhale. Get that lift through the pelvic floor. Relax the pelvic floor as you go down. Widen. Exhale. Contract. Make sure your foot's still turning inwards. Sometimes they have a tendency to roll back out into a different position. Exhale. And release it there. Have a little wiggle there. So other side. So I'll go to the side. So it'll be your right foot forward. All the weight bearing on the left side. So the left side does all the power and control. This right side's getting a stretch on that back leg. So sink down, you're in neutral, everything's facing forward. Widen the sitting bones, push up, all the power driving through the left foot. Breathe in, send your right sitting bone away, driving the power through the left as you come up. Breathe in, you can relax the pelvic floor, widen the sitting bones. Exhale, press the left foot down and lift the pelvic floor. Exhale. External rotation, body still stays forward over that front leg. Okay, breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in, widen. Exhale, come up. Two more here. Internal rotation, remember if it's not for you, you've got the choice of external and internal. But keep an eye on this leg, it likes to roll or move out of the internal position quite often. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor, widen the sitting bones. Exhale, lift. Drive all the power down through that left foot. One more. Nice and deep. And exhale. Lovely. And release that down. So there's a bit of a double whammy there. Feet hip distance. Do a few pelvic tilts in case you create a little bit of tension there. Let's just get rid of it while we remember. So basic pelvic tilt. You can do a few side to sides, a few circles, whatever feels good for you. Into basic side bends. So you've got the choice of no equipment. You can just keep the arms long by the sides, rising up above. You can interlace your fingers, or you can use a band to help pull you down. Today, just for a change, I'm just going to interlace my fingers, but you know how to use a band quite narrow, and you can pull down to get that extra bit of stretch, if that's what feels good for you. So, do your thing. Edge together, make sure your feet are strong. Imagine you're standing between two imaginary sliding doors. Breathe in, and exhale, press your feet through the floor. So it's stretching through the spine, through the side of the spine. Exhale. And then we're going to go into a side bend. See if you can take the gaze down. As long as you don't have any problems with osteoporosis, osteopenia, any nerve impingements, maybe you can also take the chest down. So you get a stretch on the side back. And then chest back to center and exhale. Breathe inside, gaze down, maybe chest. Exhale, chest to center and press back up. Breathe in, gaze down, optional chest down. Exhale, side and center, breathe in. This time I'm going to take the gaze up if that's okay for you, but you know what your options are if it's not. And again, you can take the chest up. There's not quite so much space here, so don't force something that's not there. Exhale, chest to center and back up. Breathe in. Exhale. And carefully release it there. Roll through the shoulders. So we're going to do a little bit of balance. We've really kind of done some single leg squats at the same time stretching our hamstrings. A little tiny bit of balance and hip mobility and a single leg kick. But here let's just try and focus on it a little bit more. So put all the weight into your left. Make sure the foot is strong, your thigh is strong, your hip is strong, you're up tall. So already you've got a lot of lightness in your right thigh. Edge together, and then just lift the foot. You can bring it all the way up if you wish. If you're doing this with complete ease, try closing your eyes. If you're really wibbly wobbly, then you'll probably know already you'll be needing something just to be there to reassure yourself. Maybe you can add in some movement, which will change the balance element of it, because you've got a moving section here now, so that your balance has to adjust. And again, don't worry about your breathing, just make sure your breathing is as neutral and as natural as possible. Keeping this thigh strong, keeping the foot and the ankle strong is what's keeping you into the floor. And then take that down. Support on the other side, edge together. So you've got the foot support, the thigh, the hip, you're up tall, edging together. This foot should already be light. And then lift. So again, see how you get on. And again, if you're here quite easy, thinking, yeah, this is easy, close your eyes. And even with your eyes closed, you can take the leg to the side and back. It just changes how your centre of balance has to operate. Again, you can hold on to a wall if you're really wibbly wobbly, but still keep trying to do it, but just hold on only as much as you need to. And you'll probably feel out how everything has to work here. And then release. So again, just do a few movements to release any tension. So we've just done some prep for balance. We've done some prep through the thighs, through the hips. Done a little bit of prep through the back. We haven't done a lot of back strength work, but we're going to try and target that now. We're going to go into the standing swimming exercise. With the arm positions, if you're really wibbly wobbly, you've got your chair in front or your wall, and you'll lean forward with your hands onto your chair or onto your wall. So your body is in the shape. You know your body can go into the shape, it's just maybe you've got to work with your balance. You can have your arms, if you're not holding on to anything, or maybe you've got a wall to the side, whatever, you can have your arms out to the side like an aeroplane. That's still going to work through the back of the shoulders, the back muscles also. Or you can have it in the more traditional positions. We normally do arms forward, okay? So see what works for you. Or there is another option, you can have your arms behind you as well. So you can imagine you're a dart flying through the air. So, I'm going to start off my arms here. Again, swap and change them around, have a play with it. Edge together, make sure the foot is strong, the thigh is strong, the hip's strong. Sinking forward through the hip. And again, have a play with your arms. Okay, see what feels good for you. Try and keep the pelvis level. Some people try too hard and they end up tilting their pelvis, trying to lift their leg too high. And again, a bit wibbly wobbly. See if you can take the arms behind you. See what position you feel okay with and what difference it makes. I'm obviously not too good with my arms out to my side. And see what position, what changes your balance, and then come back up. Because you might have to work on a different position depending on the arm. So I was very noticeably not so good with my arms out to the side. It's not something I often do. So foot strong, thigh, hip nice and controlled. Hinging forward, try and keep the pelvis level. Reach and stretch. Again, change your arm positions if you want. So you might find you're quite different on one side compared to the other. And then carefully come back up. We're going to do that one more time on each side. Foot strong, thigh and hip. Again, it's up to you how far you go and what level, what variation you're choosing. Keep the leg nice and lifted in line. And then last one. Okay, keep that lifted leg behind you nice and strong. And release it there. Oh, so the movement of our arms, whatever position they're in, our back muscles have to hold us. Oh, and you might feel you're going a little bit dizzy there. So standing with your feet hip distance, we're going to come down to the floor. We're going to do roll downs. We're going to do 3 roll downs and 3 roll ups. Not going to walk out today because it's not really what we're focusing on. So ankles, knees and hips in line. Lengthen up through, chin towards the chest. Exhale, rolling down. Pull the belly in. As you exhale, you can lift the pelvic floor. Feel the stretch along the back body. You can support yourself with your hands on your thighs, or maybe you've got blocks, or you can touch the floor. And then when you're ready, press the feet down into the floor, engage in the top abdominals as you exhale. And allow the spine just to unfurl, but with length and distance between each and every vertebrae. Breathe in. And exhale. Chin towards the chest. Exhale. Hold it, feel the stretch, breathe in. Exhale. Keep pressing through the feet, lifting the pelvic floor. Length and distance Breathe in. Exhale. Chin towards the chest. Exhale. Hold it, breathe in. Exhale, press the feet into the ground. And release it there, well done. So coming down to the floor. Hooray, I hear. So we're going to work through the back of the shoulders. So I love trying to encourage people to go to low kneeling. If it's really uncomfortable for you, which is not uncommon at all, sometimes it's because ankles are tight at the front here. So one option is to sit on your toes, but your toes can start screaming after a little while. It's not a bad exercise, but you won't want to do it for too long. But what you can do is put like a small rolled up towel or maybe a cushion on the underneath of your ankles there, or just in front of your ankles, and then that will give you a little bit more space and you can rest down a little bit more. Some people find it on the front thigh, around the knees, so sometimes you might need, as well as a block, a cushion, a great big rolled up towel in between the space of your bum and your heels, so you can sit. You'll be sitting a little bit higher, but your body will start to adapt. If that's all still a no-no, you can sit on your bum, sit on the edge of a chair, come up to standing. What we're doing here is to work the muscles on either side of the shoulder blade, on the back here and also underneath the shoulder blades. If you drape the band on the thumbs, close the fingers down and up. Scoop the elbows slightly forward in front of the side seam, and you want a little bit of space between your elbow, your upper arm and your body, so you're not squeezing it in really intently because you're just going to create tension. So allow there to be a little bit of space. Forearms are at right angles, and you've got that little bit of that movement, that scooping action of the elbow, so it's not right forward, it's just very slightly in front of the side seam. Keep broad in your chest, keep broad in your upper back, so you're not squeezing the shoulder blades together in this instance. That's what's really important. The shoulder blades actually stay still for them to actually be able to move the arms into the rotation. So scoop the elbows, nice and broad, so for the collarbones lengthening, the upper back lengthening, and then exhale, rotate out. Shoulders should be dropping down, you've got that little bit of air space, and then inhale to come back. Keep the elbows slightly scooped, rotate out. Keep that broadness through the front of the chest and also the upper back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. So 4 more. Keep nice and broad, shoulder blades are still. Get the lift of the pelvic floor as you exhale. Keep the neck nice and loose. If you need to give it a bit of a shake every now and again because you're feeling a little bit of tension arising, then do so. And last one. And release. So that's the rotator cuff there. So whenever you work the rotator cuff, please remember you're not squeezing your shoulder blades together. It's actual shoulder blades we're working, not the muscles in between. So we're going to work through, just isolate through the front of your thigh now. They were working when we did our squats earlier, but we're just going to isolate them now. So I want you to feel the space in between your sitting bones and tailbone. Have your hands behind you, or you can go onto your elbows and forearms if your wrists are a bit creaky. Kind of going to push the mat away from you, which will then lift the chest. Nice and lengthened up. And you don't want the feet too close in because you're going to make it very difficult for yourself. Have the knees just gently bent. Imagine you've got a bolt in between your two knees, which you're going to keep that togetherness. And then when you're ready, you're going to exhale, straighten, engage the thigh, pull the kneecap up the thigh, and then inhale, bend. Exhale. Inhale. So exhale as you lengthen. Remember, pelvic floor lifts. Keep nice and strong in the upper body. Try not to sink. So we've done some stretching for the hamstrings, which then helps us get some more contraction in our quadriceps. Exhale. And then release that there. Ooh. So, just move your arms around for those who've got a few aches in your arms and so forth. Grabbing hold of your band now. Tie above your knees. And we're working our glute muscles. Now they're big, strong muscles. You know, they have to support the weight of our upper body, adjust to movements and changes in our body. So don't be scared, tie it tight. It's not like the arms that are smaller, they're big muscles. So we're working into the oyster. So we have our feet stacked and our hips stacked as well. So you're not rolling back to the squishy part of your bum, you're right up on the side of the hip. So you may need a blanket, towel, cushion underneath. Rest your head down on your arm. You can prop yourself up if you want to. Support your head onto your hands. So generally we want our heels in line with our sitting bones. Edge together. Have your natural lumbar curve, so you're not tucked under, it's just a natural curve, nothing excessive. And keep that edging together. And then you'll breathe in as you lift. So you release the pelvic floor in an inhalation. As you exhalation, get that lift. That central internal lift of the pelvic floor. Breathe in. And then exhale, lift. So the longer your exhalation, the longer your endurance on the pelvic floor. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Last one. Right on. So we're going to stay on this side, but we're going to push the band down to our ankles. So we've just worked our deep hip rotators. Now we're going to work the muscles for abduction. So they're very similar, same kind of group, but that last one was a rotation. This is just an up and a down. So have both legs long. Again, you can rest the head down, prop yourself up. Legs are long and strong, hips are stacked. Same breathing mechanism we just done with the oyster. So you breathe in as you lift, exhale as you lower. So take your time. So breathe in, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, lift. So get all the exhalations, so you get the endurance on the pelvic floor. Breathe in, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, release. Okay, we've got 2 more to do. Last one, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, bring your knees in towards you, push yourself back up. Bring the band back up above the knees, ready for your oyster. So again, this is where we got the rotations. So hip stacked, little mouse hole. And again, breathing in, relax the pelvic floor. Keeping the pelvis nice and square. Exhale. So again, really targeting the deep pelvic floor muscles. So I'm not giving you too much instruction because there's only so much you can think about. Exhale. So when you contract the pelvic floor, you're trying to relax your bum. Okay, so as you breathe in, pelvic floor should be relaxed anyway. As you breathe out, you lift the pelvic floor and your bum should be relaxing to make that downward movement. So make sure you get a central lift of the pelvic floor. The longer your exhalation, the more endurance on the pelvic floor. Two more. And last one. And release it there. So push yourself up, take the band down to your ankles again. Get yourself comfy. Both legs nice and super straight. So check your hips are stacked, little mouse hole, same as before. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, contract the pelvic floor, central lift. So we've got 10 repetitions, breathe in. Keeping the leg nice and long. Okay, we've got 3 more to go. And 2 more. And then when you've done your 10, bring the knees in, push yourself up. Oh, you're going to take the band off. We're going to do some work for our back muscles now. So find your sitting bones. If you find there's a slight bit of difficulty sitting upwards with your knees straight, with your legs straight in front, if you find you're doing a little bit of this or this, either bend your knees, which will give you a bit more space in the hamstrings, in your hips, sit on something or both. You can sit on a chair, the edge of a chair, if that's better. You could even stand and tie your band on the door handle. So there's lots of different variations and options. But if you're seated, I want you right up on your sitting bones, making a nice right angle here. None of this, up nice and tall. So if you wrap the band on the underneath of your feet, we want it relatively strong, okay? So have a little play first. Make sure you've got the right amount of resistance, and you're going to pull your fists into your hips. Make sure you can almost feel those bones at the front of the hips that we felt earlier, where you sunk your fingers into your hips with a squat. With your elbows, send them down in the direction of the skirting boards behind you, and then you can squeeze your elbows in. Now, if you can't get that, give yourself more slack, because so often in class, people aren't getting their fists to their hips, and all they've got to do is just give themselves a bit more slack, and hey ho, they can do it. I want the position, as long as you've got that movement in your shoulder, of fist to hip. So if you've got to give yourself more slack, even let go of the band, do so, rather than think you're doing the right thing but without the range. So shoulders back and down. Make sure your spine's in the right position, whether you're sat, standing, whatever you've chosen. And then take the fist to hips, elbows down in the direction of skirting boards, crown the head sky high, and squeeze your elbows in towards you, in towards each other, and then release. And then again, exhale, fist to hips, elbows down, in, keep tall, edge together, and release. So exhale, lift the pelvic floor, fist to hips, elbow work, up tall, edge together. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor as you release the arms. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. Keep up nice and tall. Inhale. We'll do 3 more. Make sure you've got the stability through the torso, squeezing in. Two more to go. And last one. Brilliant, well done. Release that there. On to all fours. This one isn't necessarily quite so easy. If you put one end of your band under your right knee, And again, I'd like you to allow yourself to have time, just have a play to get the right amount of resistance rather than rushing. So knee under hip, palm under shoulder. Then with your left hand, you're going to pick up the band. You can screw it up into the hand, you can roll it, wrap it around, whatever feels comfortable. Make sure your spine's in the right position, so you're lengthening through the spine. You're edging together, so you're strong, your arms are strong. And then you're going to sweep the arm out to the sides, around about shoulder height, maybe a little bit behind. It's really up to you. And then inhale back. So if you can do that with ease, maybe make it a bit tighter. If it's too much, obviously give yourself more slack. I want you to keep the broadness in your upper back and upper chest. Stretching the arm out nice and far away from you as you arc the arm out to the side. So when you're ready, exhale, lift. So we're going to do 8 repetitions. Last one. If you're feeling this in your neck, you've done more than enough. This is the back of the shoulder. That's where we're working. Right, other side. So now you've got the end of the band under your left knee. Screw the band up in your other hand, wrap it around, whatever you did on the other side. Supporting arm nice and straight, edge together. Take a full breath in. And exhale, lift. Lift the pelvic floor, that internal lift. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, 8. And release that there. Well done. So, sitting on your bum again, or on a chair, or stand with the band wrapped around the door handle. And what we kind of want to do is cross the band, so it looks like you've got a kiss. Okay, hold the ends, or find, again, give yourself time to have a play to feel the right amount of resistance. So I'll do it from the side first, and then I'll turn around to the front. So you want your arms kind of parallel to the floor, maybe a little bit lower. Palms would be facing downwards in a fist. Broaden and widen the upper back and the chest. Leading with your elbows again, send the elbows away, neck long, and then you'll find as you get your elbows back, your shoulder blades will want to go in towards the spine. That's okay, that's okay. And then inhale. Arms are long, so keep broad to begin with as you start to take the elbows back. So you're still broad. Then probably when you're about in line with shoulders, then you'll feel the shoulder blades coming in towards the spine. Allow that to happen now as you take your elbows back. You're not leaning back though. The body is still upright and strong. Breathe in. So you breathe in on the pelvic, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, contract. we're working through the back of the shoulders, all through the upper back. Remember, no leaning back. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor. Just going to do a couple more. Exhale. The last one. And release. Our next bit of work for our legs are going to be for the inner thighs. So we do the side, but beyond our side. So again, if you need anything, any support underneath your pelvis, find something to pop underneath. So we've got a couple of variations, a couple of options here. So we need to get this top leg out of the way, so you can let the knee drop forward. You can put a block or a cushion here to let that leg just rest freely. I sometimes like, if we've done a lot of hip work, is to bring that leg in and hold it in, because you get a natural stretch while we can lift this underneath leg. But since we're really working through the legs today, another option is to keep this top leg lifted, and you'll lift it to the point where you can have both legs touching, and then this top leg's going to stay there. It's going to be like your little marker point. So connect your hand to the floor, because it's all about getting this work on the inner thigh. So don't worry about your balance. Edge together, and then exhale, lift, allow that bottom leg to meet the top, and then down. Try not to do this with a foot, okay? So if you flex a foot, hopefully it'll keep you connected a bit stronger. So we're going to do 10 repetitions. So exhale, lift. Then we might do a little change once we get to the top, or we get to our 10. Hold this one up. If you've had enough, then obviously rest. Otherwise, keep both legs straight, and then we're going to scissor kick. So you can point the feet if you wish to. And then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, take them down. Bring the knees in. That is the one that I threw in there, wasn't it? An unexpected one, that's what we like. So again, resting down, decide where you want that top leg, whatever works good for you. So get yourself comfy. So, because we're working hips and legs quite a lot today, I'm going to keep this top leg lifted just to increase the intensity a little bit more. And again, have a play, make sure that bottom leg can reach the top, because that leg is now a marker point. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Hold this one up, but do rest if you need to. Legs long, flex the feet, or point the feet up to you. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well done, and release that there. Push yourself up. So we're going to work all the back muscles now. We've done the back, the shoulders, the upper back. This will work all the way down to the lower back and also into your bum. So fingertips are going to face forward, not behind, so they're forward. Sometimes we have to go slightly out to the side, that's fine. Whatever your position is, fingertips are face or slightly out, you're going to ground your hands down into the ground. No visible movement, it's a little bit of traction to spin the fingers all the way out to the side and behind you, but no visible movement. It's really, really important. So first of all, push the hands into the floor, then no visible movement, but you're going to spin backwards, and that's going to open up your shoulders. Start off with your feet flat against the floor. You can stay here if it's enough work for your back body. You've got another couple of options, a few options from here. You can press your feet into the floor, traction the heels in towards you as you glide the knees away from you. Keep pressing your hands through the floor and getting that little bit of traction and pubic bone sky high. Inhale down. Some of you are quite happy with legs in front. Exhale. Again, get that spinning because we're working all through your back. Get the back of the shoulders to work. Inhale, lower. For those who want even more intensity, exhale, lift. Hold that lift there. Bring one knee in, take it down. Make sure you're supported. Bring the other knee in, back down, and then lower. So find your variation. We're just going to do a couple more breaths. So when you're ready, you can lift in your way, pubic bone high, push the hands into the floor, get the spin. If you're happy to, bring the knee in and back. Bring the knee in and then lower. Last one, push. Bring the knee in and lower. And release it there. Well done. Let's go on to all fours. Let's go into a child's pose stretch. And then just rock through this pelvis side to side. Just releasing any areas of tension. On to all fours. We did the standing cat-cow. Now we're going to do the one on all fours. Lengthen the spine. Again, leading the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone under. Allow the spine to follow. Looking towards your belly button. Tailbone up and away. Pull the chest forwards through the two arms. Shoulder blades towards each other. Then you get that little bit of traction of your hands and then no visible movement. Tuck the tailbone under. Round and roll the spine. Push the hands into the floor. Tailbone up. Arm up. And then again. Tuck under. Tailbone up. And then relax your bottom into your heels. Back into child's pose stretch. Walking the hands in towards your knees. Again, back into low kneeling just for a moment. High kneeling. And then place your left foot forward. Tuck your back toes under. Place a weight over your left foot using both feet to come up. Other side. Again, weight forward. Push down, rise up. Ankles, knees and hips in line. Breathe in. Breathe out. And release it there. Well done, everybody. Thank you.